What is up, guys? So today for this video we're going to be looking at Darth Maul, and today is just going to be a little hero guide where I'm going to be showing you guys some gameplay. I'm going to be talking about his strengths and his weaknesses, and also be talking about his star cards. And right now on the screen, as you guys are seeing, I'm just showcasing the star cards that I have for Darth Maul, and also the ones I have equipped as well. You guys can pause the video if you need to, and then just have a look and have a read through so that you can see what his abilities do. But we're just going to get on to the next one right now. So for this little clip right now that you guys are seeing, as I'm just using Darth Maul and I'm just using his saber throw. So the reason why I use the star card is because it does an extra 20 bonus damage from Darth Maul saber throw as he throws it more violently, causing it to do more damage, especially when it comes back. So the one good thing about Darth Maul saber throw is that when you throw it, it does come back, and if your opponent is standing still in that position where you throw it, it will come back and it will do bonus damage to them as well, which can result in you gain a lot of multi kills especially. So for the star card I'm using right now, Darth Maul gains 1 extra spin attack. So in the bottom right hand corner, as you guys see, started off as 3, and then as I use it, it goes down to 2 and then goes down to 1. The one good thing about this star card as well is that instead of you having 2 spin attacks, you're now able to get 3, which is really good, especially when you're trying to get into tight situations. And as you guys are seeing right now, the next star card I have right now is it says Maul throws enemies further away with his chokehold ability, and this is really good and really fun, especially because when you're playing on maps like, let's say you're playing on Bespin, or you're playing on maybe Kashyyyk and stuff, sometimes it's really fun to throw your enemies over cliffs and stuff. Or if you're playing, let's just say Galactic Assault, and you're in a tight spot and you need to get your enemies away from you, this is a really good ability as it throws them further away from you, so it gives you some room either to escape, to run away from them, or to set up your next play.
At last we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we will have revenge.
So right now what you guys are seeing is just a little gameplay of heroes versus villains, and you guys can just take a look at how I play Darth Maul and everything. So just to go over Darth Maul and talk about some of his strengths, Darth Maul is probably one of the quickest characters in the game. I think he's second to Luke, but on the dark side he's definitely on the far side, which is really good. And the one good thing I'd always recommend for anyone playing Darth Maul is always be on the move. Darth Maul isn't a type of character that is very defensive. You really shouldn't sit back with Darth Maul and just hold your lightsaber for to block enemies attack and just stay there. You always want to be on the move, you always want to be attacking, you always want to be rushing in with your spin attack, getting into the fight, getting a few kills and then backing out, regaining your health and then going back in again. Another tip as well when playing Darth Maul, what I see a lot of players actually do, and they may necessarily be new players, is that they always lead in with Darth Maul with his middle ability, which is his chokehold ability. Don't be one of those players who just rushes in with Darth Maul and immediately goes for the chokehold, because there's going to be 2 scenarios. Scenario 1, if you use the chokehold ability and it's unsuccessful, as let's say you're going up against a lightsaber wielder and they are blocking, you're just going to be stuck in that animation, and then they can go in and do damage to you while you're still in that animation. Scenario number 2, you're going to throw the enemy away from you, and therefore you're not going to be able to actually go in and actually get the kill, because you've just thrown them a distance away from you, and then you're going to have to rush in or wait for them to come in so that you can actually continue fighting them. So always be aware, please do not lead in with your chokehold ability. However, when playing as Darth Maul, if you do use his middle ability, you will gain immunity. And what this means is that During the duration of you using his middle ability, you gain immunity, and what this does is that it enables you so that you're unable to actually get affected by force powers. So let's just say you go into a fight and you use Darth Maul's middle ability. Let's just say you're going up against another Luke and they're using their force push or they're using their repulse ability or anything like that. You aren't going to be affected by that ability. You will receive damage, but it's not going to disrupt your ability, and that's just one good thing to know about Darth Maul as well. Another thing as well is when it comes to his spin attack animation, if you're going up against, let's say, some blaster wielders and you use a spin attack ability, what not a lot of people actually know is that while you actually use this ability, as Darth Maul, leaps forward and he's like, spinning his lightsaber towards the opponent, you actually deflect some blaster bolts back at your opponent, which is really, really good. Sometimes you may realize that you might see a bunch of people, let's just say you're playing Galactic Assault, you rush in with Darth Maul, you use a spin attack ability, and before you can actually finish the animation where you go into them and you actually hit them, you will actually deflect some of those blaster bolts back at your opponent, which is actually really, really good, especially with decreasing their HP. So that's also a very good tip to know as well. As good as Darth Maul's spin attack ability is, unfortunately there is one downside to this, and this may be a bug, this may be server issues, whatever, but if you do realize that sometimes when you use Darth Maul's spin attack ability, what happens is that after Darth Maul lands, he then sticks in that place, and then for some reason it becomes very hard for you to actually turn. So sometimes when you're going up against other characters or other opponents, you use the spin attack ability and you immediately want to turn around so that you can continue attacking your opponent, or you want to change your direction. For some reason this ability just keeps Darth Maul in place and it's a little bit hard for him to actually turn around. Therefore you're going to get caught in, let's say you're going up against another saber wielder, for example, you use a spin attack ability and you quickly just want to turn around or dash left or right depending on how you want to actually attack your opponent. Sometimes what happens is that you get stuck in that position where you landed, and then because of that you're just going to be wide open to be receiving damage, and then unfortunately you can die in a lot of scenarios like that. So that's just one of the downsides, unfortunately, to this ability. So right now, what you guys are seeing is just some gameplay in heroes versus villains. I managed to get like a 79 kill streak with Darth Maul, which is pretty good. And one of the star cards that you're seeing on the screen right now, the reason why I use this star card and why I think it's very essential for Darth Maul, especially when playing Galactic Assault, because it gives you 16% damage reduction. Damage reduction in this game is absolutely crazy and really, really essential in keeping your character alive as long as possible. And in a game mode as Galactic Assault, where it's 20v20, you've got so many other characters that can actually, defeat your hero. When you have damage reduction, it really, really helps to keep you alive. So this is one reason why I actually absolutely think that this card is really, really essential for playing Darth Maul. In heroes versus villains, it's not really essential to actually have this card, because a lot of the times you're going to be facing off against other saber wielders. There may be the one or two odd time where someone comes in and they spawn maybe as Han or they spawn as Leia, and in those type of circumstances you can equip the card if you want to, but in a game mode like Galactic Assault, where you're going to be going up against more blaster characters than actual saber characters, this star card, like I mentioned, is really, really helpful. And a lot of kill streaks that people get with Darth Maul, this star card is literally the reason why they are actually to stay alive as long as they can with Darth Maul. So what you guys are seeing right now as I'm playing this game mode especially is that most of the time I'm just going to zip in with my spin attack ability. I'm going to try to do some damage to my opponents, maybe get 1-2 hits followed in, and then follow up with my spin attack ability and then back out as much as I can. I really, really use my chokehold ability, because in most circumstances you're going to go up against experienced players who are going to know that most Darth Maul players, unfortunately, they lead in with their force choke ability, and you do not want to be one of those players where your opponent knows that is the ability that you're going to use. So as you guys would always see, like I'm trying to do, in more circumstances I would try not to use my chokehold ability, as like I mentioned, it can leave you wide open, and if you're wide open and you're stuck in that animation, then people can just shoot you, or if you're going up against another saber character, they can do damage to you. And especially when you're playing Galactic Assault, you want to make sure that you're not taking as much damage as normal, because obviously in this game mode, when you're playing as like any specific character, whether it be light side or dark side, if you die with that character, in most circumstances someone's probably waiting in the menu waiting for you to die so that they can get the chance to play as one of their favorite characters in the game. Overall, Maul is probably one of the most balanced heroes in this game. He's fun to play as, he's agile, he's quick, and he does very respectable damage as well compared to other saber wielders as well. He's really fun to play, and I think the one thing, especially now that a lot of people are going to be grinding for his skin, now that they've actually changed it so that instead of playing Darth Maul specifically, you're now able to actually play as any dark side character, and eventually when you hit 5,000 kills, you will get dual master skin, as you guys have seen me use in this video. I unlocked the skin prior to the update, so I was quite fortunate to get 5,000 kills with Darth Maul. It was a real grind, but at the same time it did actually open my eyes up to actually help me to actually understand Maul a little bit better, so that I can make this video to help you guys, you know, to actually master Darth Maul a bit better. A lot of times when you're playing as Darth Maul as well, one thing that I do want to say as well is always make sure that you're, like I mentioned earlier in the video, always be on the move. And the reason why I'm coming back to this now is because it's not going to give you any benefit if you're just staying still with Darth Maul, holding your lightsaber up and expecting for you to get kills. If you're just constantly one of those players who just rushes in with your chokehold ability, then you're not going to actually get any kills, unfortunately. You're just going to be stuck there, leaving yourself wide open. You're not really going to be contributing much to your team, and compared to another person who could be playing, who is a little bit more experienced with Darth Maul, you're just going to be a little bit of a setback, and you don't really want that. When you're playing as Maul, you want to go in, you want to have fun, get kills, you want to make sure that you're staying alive as much as possible, but also using your abilities at the right time so that you can maximize their potential. Really hope that this video has actually helped all of you guys to actually understand Maul a little bit better, as I know that a lot of people who eventually are going to get the old master skin based on the requirements now, instead of it being 5,000 Darth Maul kills, now it's going to be 5,000 dark side kills. A lot of players are going to be unlocking this skin, and when they unlock the skin, they're going to want to play as Darth Maul, and they're going to want to be on the top of the leaderboard for whichever game mode they're playing, showcasing that new old master skin that they have rightfully unlocked. Another tip as well with Darth Maul, and this is mainly just a little insight when it comes to using Darth Maul's middle ability. I'm not too sure if everyone does know this, but a little trick is that sometimes when Darth Maul falls off of a ledge, or if he comes down or anything like that, right before he touches the ground, so let's just say you use a spin attack ability, or let's just say you were up on a cliff or a ledge or anything like that, and as soon as you come down, so right before you hit the ground, you can use his middle ability straight away, which is a really good way to set up for a combo, because if you just, as soon as before you hit the ground and everything, you can come down and you can actually use this ability, and you'll catch your opponents off guard because they'll be probably waiting for you to actually hit the ground first and then use your ability. But this ability works so good because it happens so quickly. It throws your enemies off guard, and it actually allows you to then follow up with maybe a spin attack afterwards, depending on how far you've thrown them, or if you're playing up against other characters, then you can just rush in against them and then do damage to them as well. So I hope that you guys have really enjoyed this video, and I hope that this video has actually helped you guys to actually understand Maul a little bit better, because I really do want to see a lot of Maul players out there who actually know how to play Maul, actually have fun with him, and can dominate the Battlefront as well. So hopefully, like I mentioned, you guys enjoyed this one. I will definitely see you guys in the next video. I'm just going to let the rest of this gameplay play out so that you guys can just enjoy the content and, you know, see how I was playing a little bit of Hero vs Villains with some friends. And I hope that you guys will continue to support the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.